So, I finally got to see Swallow, the Netflix adaptation of Sepi Atta's book Swallow. And this movie is produced by a household name in the Nigerian industry, the person of Kunle Afolayan. So, I did a trailer reaction of this video that was weeks ago, I think 2 weeks ago. And now here we are, the movie's out because the movie was set to be out on October 1st. And what day is it now? It's October 4th, and I saw the movie this morning. The movie is 2 hours long. The languages spoken in the movie is both Yoruba and English language. So the two burning questions now are: is the movie good, and is the book better? That's for book lovers, of course. Is the book better, the book or the movie, which is better? Okay, I am going to answer the second question without batting an eyelid. And I think that if you are someone who was always watching my videos, you know the answer to the question already. That reminds me, please like, share, subscribe to this channel. So the answer to the second question is, of course, the book is better. Too better, if you ask me, way better than the movie. In my reaction, I said I was expecting a lot of things, and I was also worried that, oh, hope they were able to deliver. So the book is better than the movie. People asking the first question, is the movie any good? Do I need to see this movie? Okay, we'll dive in now. So the movie is set in Lagos, Nigeria, as we likely said, and it opens with Tolani, a tired Tolani, leaving the stress of Lagos behind and coming home to the welcoming arms of her mother. It is obvious that Tolani has been through a lot, and she narrates the story to her mother, so that here the movie makers or the writer employ the use of flashback. So she tells the mother what happened, her ordeal in Lagos, Nigeria, where she was living with her friend and roommate and also co-worker-ish, kind of, because they were working in the same bank but different departments. But yeah, they're still co-workers. Anyway, Tolani is played by the singer Niyola, while the friend Rose is played by Ijeoma Grace Agu. These two ladies are living in a building which is typical in Lagos, Nigeria, because they have a population issue where a lot of people are living in a building. So, and there's a backdrop of stress, the Lagos stress life and everything happening. The cherry on the cake is that their workplace is not any peaceful. The workplace is like many other offices. Besides the very annoying co-workers and the atmosphere that comes with an office environment, the place was also marred by corruption and abuse, especially targeted at women. So there's this Mr. Salako that is very handsy, and if sorry, not Ifoma. Ifoma is played by Rose is played by Ifoma. So was actually his secretary, and she got booted out because he was handsy with her, and she gave him a slap. So she was booted out of the office. Then her friend Tolani was asked to take over her spot. Like clockwork, he also became handsy with Tolani. There's a lot of frustration and people are just tired. So Rose, who hates poverty firmly because she even grew up in poverty, and I think there's this need for her to just break that cycle. So she wanted money at all costs, at all means. So this is why she spearheaded the suggestion after she met her abusive boyfriend OC, who was also an American returnee, and what he actually did in America was to sell drugs. So he wanted drug meals. So he told Rose about it, and Rose was so open to it because, again, her fear of poverty cancels every sense of reasoning in her. So she told her friend Tolani about it, and Tolani actually bought into the idea as well, because Tolani also, who was also frustrated at work, Mr. Salaka made sure of that, because even when she reported about the abuse, there was really nothing could be done, because it was as if nothing could be done. It was as if she couldn't win. So she was getting frustrated, and she said, okay, let's do this. At the end, Rose goes to London on her own, and Tolani is forced to return to her village in Makoku, where she was telling her mother the story, like I said in the beginning. We dive into the themes now. So there's this theme of hopelessness in this throughout the movie. I want to say book. I'm definitely going to be referencing the book a lot because the book is my favorite actually, and I'm not going to say it. I'm just going to continue. So the feeling of hopelessness in this is a major theme in both the book and the movie. Although I would say that it was not really enunciated in the movie the way it was in the book, I don't think they delivered that part well at all. I don't know. Maybe it's because I read the book. That's why I felt that way. You who have not read the book but you have seen the movie, you can please tell me in the comment section. And if you're Nigerian, or did you feel, did you have any feeling of hopelessness when you're watching the movie? When I read the book, there was this deep feeling of hopelessness that I felt because not only was the book just one track, it was multi-dimensional, multifaceted, and there was just this feeling of hopelessness. So there was this shared trauma and this shared disbelief that okay, people are actually enjoying this. Oh, this is so sad. And there was just this feeling of hopelessness that I understood when I read the book. But seeing the movie, I didn't really feel that way. I was just saying, okay, okay. I was actually worried for people who haven't read the book because I'm like, oh, these people that didn't read this book are really missing out on this thing that the writer was trying to pass across in the book. That was the feeling of hopelessness because 1980s Nigeria was filled with corruption. This was during the military era. The economy was declining. A lot of things were just happening. That's why people were taking up to just illegal businesses because even when Rose was talking to her boyfriend, the guy from America, she said, oh, what are you doing that you have such money? So you see that even the average Nigerian couldn't even achieve some certain things at that age. And she said, oh, I know that it was going to be something illegal, but I did not pin it to be drugs. Then we also see Sanwo and Tolani's relationship. Sanwo was like, oh, you know that it's only rich people that get married before 40. And we see in other countries where guys get married early as possible, as long as you are comfortable. But in Nigeria, you are actually have to work hard, work hard, work hard, and it's almost like a rat race. So that's the kind of feeling of hopelessness that the movie and the book is trying to portray as well. Then there's the theme of the plight of women. Like Rose said in the movie, it's as if women can't win. It's terrible. You we saw it in different characters. We saw it in Tolani, we saw it in Rose, the neighbors, Mama Ayo, the other lady who loves to read, that they said in other, if it was in another scene, maybe a first scene, she might most likely be being a professor. So you see that okay, these women were experiencing abuse in the office. When Tolani dared to write a report concerning this, the report was not um, passed to personnel. It was just terrible. And even in the book, it actually played out different in the book than the movie. In the movie, the they tweaked the plot a bit, whereby Mr. Sanwo was actually punished for what he did. This is beautiful, but I feel like it was reaching. I didn't like that part at all. Leave it the way the story was because I thought that these things are happening in real life, and the truth is that women don't win these cases. It takes time, it takes a lot of fighting, it takes a lot of ignoring. You complain about it and they'll say you're a liar and all that. So saying that, oh, the man lost his job because of misconduct, I did not like that part at all. I was like, no, this is not how it was in the book. In the book, she actually lost her job. Instead of the man losing his job, she lost her job and she had to stay back and think of a way to make money with her mother who sells at the rare. So I don't like that part at all. Then what else? We see the character of Violet was also just trying to make way. We just see women just trying to make sense out of the entire situation. Mrs. Duro Jaye was just trying to make headway, and she was passing her frustration to her kids. Mama Chidi, just women being women. In the book, we see more very strong characters, but they had to cut out those characters because you can't fit it into a movie like that. Because if you do it should take like more than 2 hours to make such a movie. But I wish they try to impute those other characters. There's also the theme of religion. This theme of religion served as comic relief for me in the book, but they didn't quite cut it in the movie for me. But there's a theme of religion and how people just demonize the old ways, and we see how some religious leaders are just actually misleading the congregation. uh the scene in this book, this the in the book, it was played out different, and I loved it in the book, but in the movie, it was just okay for me. Then we see the theme of love in this book. We see a lot of love, not just romantic love. We see the love that Tolani has for Rose and Rose has for Tolani. We see the wrong type of love which Rose had with her ex, her the kind of man she chose. The American guy OC was really abusive to her, but she said, "Oh, because of money, she wanted to stay with him." Then we see the love between Tolani and Sanwo. Um, this love was not really sweet to me. I'm sorry, it wasn't really sweet like that. So it's just there because most times women most times women are conditioned to, okay, it's time for marriage, get married, have kids. And that was why Tolani, with the advice from Rose, was giving her boyfriend Sanwo an ultimatum. We also see the theme of abuse, like I already mentioned in the other themes. We also see the theme of corruption and just all round hopelessness. I think a major theme is the feeling of hopelessness. That's my own theme. That hopelessness, that you feel like, oh, you are just hopeless. And which leads me to another part or segment in this video, which is scenes that I were highly underplayed. So my favorite scene in that, when I read Swallow by Sefi Atta, the book, I really, really, really loved. I really loved the scene where Ayo fell in that Sockaway pit. And in that scene, the way it was written in the book, it was so beautiful. Because there was a backdrop of poverty, just poverty. And everywhere was just, the thing was just dim. Everything was just dim at that moment. And that little boy fell into the pit. Everywhere reeked of poo, but people were still running to that stench to fetch out the boy. They had hope. There was this communal love. The mom was not even around, but people saw that, okay, that hole was there, and most likely this little boy plays in this place, so he definitely is in that hole. And the mother was not even there. She works as a nurse, so everybody just running to the boy's rescue. It shows that communal love that Africans have for each other. Then they were just fetching bamboo sticks, just trying to fetch out his body at least, because it's sacred to Africans. So you're just trying to get a body out of that hole, and everything was just dim. I was so sad in that scene. Then Tulani went out. She was also feeling down, thinking of her own, the time when she lost her father, who she shared a deep bond with, and she found Ayo. And the way she grabbed him and was running, and was just like, she went back, delivered the boy to his mother, and he also reeked of poo. He almost fell into the pit, but was able to worm his way out. That scene in the book was my favorite because it just served as hope for me. Because no matter what happens, the people are going to be okay. That was just it for me. That people, when you have each other's back, it's really beautiful. I love that scene so much, and it was highly underplayed in that movie. It was just like, okay, an addition, okay. And it pained me because I wanted people to see that. I don't know. I didn't like that scene at all. I just like, no, this is not how it played out in my head. This is not how it played out in my head. I wanted more. I want, like, it was kind of emotionless to me. just emotionless. She didn't even grab the boy. She just oh, your mother, oh, thank you. Okay, I didn't like it. I didn't like that scene at all. Then another thing that I didn't I that was another thing I was underplayed in the movie was Samuel's dress sense. So Samuel in the book served as comic relief for me because he was so badly dressed all the time. He had very poor taste in fashion, which was a contrast to Lani, who, even though she wears cheap clothing, she actually liked to look nice. But Tolani in the movie, I didn't see anything from her. She was just there for me. So I was expecting to see Sanwo in the green tie, Sanwo just mismatching things, Sanwo just throwing things together and wearing them. Let me see. Why? I don't know. Then another thing that I didn't like was there's some things about 1980s Nigeria, of course. Let's not just throw everything out like that. The TV, the NTA, I think the airways, there's some kind of splash there. But I feel like there was really no feeling of, you know, I didn't, I didn't really feel it. I was just feeling for people that didn't read the book, like, okay, these people will not get how I'm feeling. So I feel like this was a time that was mad with military era, coup and counter coup. There was just a lot going on at that time. People were uncertain, but people were also trying to put their head above water, and it was really not played out well for me. Then the scene, the beginning, where Rose and Tolani were having a conversation in the bus, that scene was more in the book. Oh, it was more played out well for me, and there was just this feeling that okay, you can relate to this. The way the bus was crammed up, the way people were listening in on the conversation, the way people were, well, everybody was just in the bus. The focus was just on Tolani and Rose. No, it's more. There's more to it. Like the environment was playing a key factor. Everything was discussed. Everything was annoying, but they were just trying to still get to that office in record time. Then I think that with my review, you must know what I think of the first question. Hoping for 90 and 80s fashion, Nigeria in the 80s, good fashion. I know that yes, it was actually from a poor perspective, like poverty was wreaking everywhere from the characters we were introduced to. But I wanted some kind of splay here and there, like, but I didn't get it where I wanted. Although we got really some really troubling wig. Osis wig. What is that? No, that's it. Big act. Before I go, I would just like to give big ups to Ijeoma because she really played Rose's role well. Although there were some scenes where she was doing a bit too much for me. Especially the scene where she was drinking the beer, where she just lost her job. She was doing a little bit too much there. But in other scenes, she delivered well. Her pigeon was on point. She just really delivered her role as Rose for me well. Niyola is new. She's a new face on our screen for movies. We already know her from her music career. She didn't do so bad, but she didn't do so well as well. She was just there for me. In the book, I really love Tolani, but Niyola in this movie, it was now like they shifted the focus from Tolani to Rose for me because in the book, Tolani was like the main character. Yes, in the movie, the intention is to make Tolani the main character because she wants telling the story, but still, to me, the movie is now more centered on Rose. That's how I saw it. So Rose played the person of Ijoma played her role well. Down to the big reveal. How many stars do I rate? How many stars would I give this book? Okay, I give this book 2 stars. I said book, sorry, movie. I'll give this movie 2 stars. I was excited to see it, especially when I saw that okay, Ayo fell. They showed the scene where Ayo fell, which is my favorite scene. I'm like, yes, they added that scene. That means they're really seeing the book from how I saw it and all that. 2 stars for this movie. Yeah, 2 stars. I'm trying to see the movie from the perspective of someone who haven't read the book before, and I feel like they'll see that the movie dragged on for like just dragging on for no reason. Yes, the book dragged on like that, But while the book was dragging on like that, we had other things entertaining us, like the fact that her life was heavily placed side by side with the life of her mother. There was more to her mother's story, but they didn't explore that part in the movie. So while she was still going through something, then they could actually just put her mother side by side in that situation. Like we see another story from her mother, because everything in her life, there was something there was a story that her mother had told her that related to it. There was like a roadmap, and she got back to Makoku, but the movie was just there, just scene after scene, like they were just clumping the scene together. Okay, okay, till we get to the part where they decided to swallow, and okay, yeah, so long, bye. The movie's over. So 2 stars for me. However, this is a great still stepping stones for Nollywood. We're getting there. We're going to be making better movies in the future. I hope that there'll be more book adaptations so that I can have reasons to rub it in your face that books are actually better than their movie adaptation. That is the truth. So, yeah, with that, I say goodbye. And I would love, love, love to hear from you. Please tell me, especially if you have not read the book before, or even if you have read the book, please tell me what your thoughts are on this movie. Do you agree with my rating? I would love to hear from you, honestly. And follow me on Instagram at Sweet Escape with Voke, Twitter at with Voke. Yeah, I'll see you again very soon. Goodbye.